Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. Somebody better start making some babies because the adults are dropping like flies. 4 deaths on Y&R in the past month. We have Cole, Damian, Chance, and Carter. Nobody's really mourning Carter's death, but hey, the character did the job he was meant to do. The actor did the job he was meant to do. So I say, rest in peace, Carter, you freak. I could have done without seeing the white sheet over his bloody head with his cracked glasses tossed beside him. Wasn't that convenient? He blows his head off. The glasses fall off right beside him, and somebody says, let me just go grab a white sheet from the linen closet to cover that up. Oh. Everything about Carter being the killer of Damian, it's very predictable, but I have to say, I was totally shocked that Chance died. I remembered that Chance was leaving the show, but I did not for 1 second think that he would end up dead until the moment the gun went off. And the look on his face, that tiny little grunt that came out of his mouth, I mean, that was great drama. I feel like Connor Floyd really nailed that moment. I felt his shock and my shock at the same time, because even though I knew the character was leaving, I figured he was going to take the money Kane offered him and, I don't know, go off somewhere on a long vacation. I really, truly did not expect a second death. And for it to be the death of Chance, I can't believe Y&R would kill Chance off. No, I take that back. I can believe it. But why? I mean, I don't know. His character hasn't been particularly active within the past couple of months, but I feel like the character of Chance certainly had more value alive than dead. I don't know. Then again, nobody's ever really dead, and they can certainly be brought back at any time. But I remember when he was just a little boy. I remember little Philip, just like little Nate. You know, I mean, he was just like little Nate was with Malcolm. He was a little boy, kind of obsessed with his stepdaddy, Ryan. I mean, all that seems like so long ago, but I mean, Chance was a legacy character. He was on since childhood. It's disappointing. I hope that we are at least going to get a full Nina grieving scene. I mean, like, I obviously don't want that for her, but at least since it's happened, I hope we're gonna get Nina back on the screen and see her reaction. I do not want to see her told over the phone, or for like Cricket to come and say she delivered the news to Nina or whatever. I don't want this to be happening off screen. If we're going to kill Chance, we have to take the opportunity to see Nina react. But I am not holding out hope. I mean, for crying out loud, Abby was the only character on the show and on the train who had a current and active connection to Chance through their son Dominic, and even she got told off screen. I'm like, wait, what? She was on the train. Why would we not take a moment to get her reaction to Chance's death? Instead, it was a couple of scenes later, Billy comes on and says, oh yeah, I told her she was sad. And then later, Nick was like, oh yeah, she's probably telling Dominic right now. And I'm thinking, Would it be too much for us to see that? I cannot believe that Nate had to find out about Damian's death from Lily over the phone. The train moved this week and everybody came back. Could we not have just waited one more episode to get that in-person grief rolling? I just cannot connect with the cell phone scene. That's my whole problem. I just can't connect. I cannot connect with person having phone to head receiving bad news. I mean, you know, I know that's how it would happen in real life, but still. The area outside of Victoria's house, though, where Nate took the call was beautiful. Nate, this is ironic, was at Victoria's house ready to go to Cole's funeral, and then he had to step outside to take the call to learn that he was going to be planning a funeral of his own. What are the odds of that? And then Nate in the park informing Amy. I mean, that was the scene of the week. Hands down, scene of the week. First of all, I have to say, she was on cloud 9 just moments before hearing the news. I mean, he took her to the park and she was really laying the happiness on thick. Oh, what a glorious day! She was practically dancing in the grass. And then Nate told her that Damian was gone. He said, "I'm sorry, Amy, your son is not coming home," which is such a weird way of putting it. Why even say that sentence? So vague. And she didn't believe it at first. Of course, you know, denial, first stage of grief. But she did make a really great point. She said, no, if my son were dead, I would know. And then she argued, well, if you cut your arm off, you'd know, wouldn't you? And then I thought, wow, that's such a really good point, Amy. I mean, maybe Damian really isn't dead. Because I do believe that, like, if Damian were really dead, Amy would have known. She is so tuned into the universe normally, so why would that not be true now? So, yeah, I am officially holding out for a twist that Damian's still alive, just based on that alone. It is hard to argue with that logic. But, you know, eventually she did give in to the facts. And she just broke my heart. I hope this doesn't mean that we're going to get less Amy, because she is so effective. And that scene was just so incredible. And the dialogue was really well done, too, because there was this moment where Nate told her, we're going to get through this together. When the time is right, I'm going to be here. I'm going to hear all of your memories. And she just goes, I don't want memories. I want my son. She's been living for this, fighting cancer for this, and now he's gone, and she was just left howling. How can he be gone when I'm still here? And that resonated with me so much, because as a parent, you certainly assume that you will go first. So how can her son be gone if she's still here? It was just heartbreaking. And I got it completely. I'm so sad for her. So sad for us. But at least Amy is with her best friend Tracy right now, off screen, working out the grief. Man, I mean, how about just one scene between these two? Just one. We've had more than one implication that they've had lunch, but we've never seen them on screen together. So I would really like to see Amy and Tracy on screen together. I would really like to see Amy come face to face with Kane. I want to see Amy let Kane have it. And I'm kind of curious to know how Amy is going to react to Lily, because she was processing it and she wasn't seeming blamey about it. And she's always been so kind and so loving toward Lily. But I can't help but wonder, how will Amy treat Lily now, knowing that Damian's relationship with Lily is what got him murdered. Of course, Kyle also found out about Cole's death over the phone. I mean, I was glad to see Claire and Kyle finally talking after all this time, but Claire lost her father, and she was all alone for it, grieving without him, and without most of the family. Not only did she not have Kyle, but she didn't have most of the family, and then it was just like, ring, 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 hey, how's Cole? Oh, he didn't make it. Really? It felt kind of anticlimactic. I don't know. If the difference was only one day, I would have rather seen Kyle burst through the door and surprise her. Because it was like phone call, and then one episode later he was home. Why not a surprise at the door? I don't know. The other thing is, Kyle turned around on the train and reported Cole's death to Jack and Diane, but Nikki and Victor were told off screen that Cole had died. I especially wanted to see Nikki's reaction. She's been worried about Victoria this whole time, and even if it was just a phone call, I really would have liked to see Nikki's shock. But gee, so glad we got to see Kyle tell Jack and Diane. Well, Kyle and Audra did a great job of tap dancing around what happened in Nice. Audra just went right ahead and used her sexuality to smooch Nate's questions right away. That's her go-to. Oh, you have some questions? Let me just close that mouth with a kiss. And Kyle kind of just waffled Claire's questions away. I do really think it's interesting that on top of everything else that Kyle feels about and toward Audra, he also now feels guilty for choosing to go to Nice to partake in this little cosmetics wars game while Claire was all alone at home losing her father. I mean, how is he ever going to forgive himself for that? And furthermore, how will she, especially when she learns the truth? But I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it before until this week, but both Kyle and Audra have this perfect excuse for keeping their little relationship thing a secret. I mean, both of their partners just lost a close family member, so, I mean, they can't go doing a silly thing like telling the truth right now. The Abbott family is back at the mansion, and the Newman family is back at the ranch. How lovely. It was nice. It was nice just feeling like, home. The outside of the Abbott mansion area is so beautiful with the doors, and I don't know, it's all seasonal and everything out there. I love the Abbott front porch. I'm surprised that the second the Abbotts walked through their front door that Diane didn't say, but tell me how you really feel about the remodel. Has she finally let that go? It was really good to be back in Genoa City. It felt good. It felt right. The Newmans finally did get a chance to reunite with Victoria, although Victor was hyper-focused the whole time on why Claire would want to go see Kyle instead of being with her family. At first I thought, gosh, she's acting jealous. But then I thought, well, he's also kind of acting like what he's really thinking is that he's worried that Kyle is going to tell Claire about how he basically paid Audra to come between them. But on the other hand, I really can't imagine that Victor's all that worried about it, because I'm sure he's got a great excuse lined up to explain it. You know, he's got something he's going to say that he thinks is going to sound perfectly reasonable. It was a nice Newman family reunion. Abby was missing from the reunion, and so was Adam. But no worries, Christian is at basketball camp, so he's good. All of that is explained away. It was actually pretty good to see Adam and Victoria working together this week, right before everybody got home. It was very awkward, and there were a lot of knee-jerk responses, but I like the idea of Adam and Victoria putting their heads together to save the Newman family from evil Kane. Oh my goodness, another scene between Victor and Kane this week. Like Nikki rushed Nick to the hospital, and Victor came back to the train to have a talk with Kane. And Victor told Kane this week to watch your ass. Genoa City is my town. Kane said he doesn't want a war, but if Victor wants one, he'll give him one. I mean, I hope so. I hope it's not all just a paper tiger. Because, I mean, at this point, Kane doesn't seem like much of a threat. At most, it seems like Kane could maybe be a thorn in Victor's paw. I'm not seeing his bigger picture yet. I don't quite understand how the buying up of the real estate in Genoa City is his stroke of master genius. I mean, I'm sure there's some plan there, but I'm just not seeing it. As far as I'm concerned, the only piece of real estate that really matters is the athletic club. And I just hope that Kane feels bad enough about what happened to Nick that maybe he'll throw in a free wedding reception there. That could be his move. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? Nick was practically sliced in two, and he said, "Sharon, come here." No, closer, closer. Kiss. I love it. I love it. I would say that Nick's priorities are right on track. Beautiful moment, Nick and Sharon kissing. But when they got home, Sharon wanted to talk about the kiss. She wanted to talk about what happened between them. He tried to play a little bit dumb, like, what happened between us? And she's like, the kiss. But Nick said, we don't have to talk about it. Let's just wait and see if it happens again. Okay. It's official. Sharon's bra and panties game is going to have to be on point every single day, just in case today is the day that Nick wants to rip her dress off. Hey, now that Sharon's back, maybe Grandma can get in there and help Tessa with Aria, since Mariah has apparently left Tessa feeling like a single mother. That's not fair. I don't think we've seen Mariah in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's been at least 2 weeks since we learned the secret that she's been hiding. That she's a smotherer. She's the Southside smotherer. Oh. But Tessa's finding a lot of community support. Daniel, of course. They had a very cute little cloud watching scene in the park with Aria. But then also, perhaps more interesting to me, was the scene with Diane. What are we to make of that connection? Tessa's at Crimson, juggling Aria and the stroller and the bags and failing to get her coffee. And she realized that she left Aria's favorite toy, and as soon as Aria wakes up, she's going to have a fit. Then around comes the corner with Diane, delivering the coffee, and happening to have a sandwich bag of crayons to deliver as well. I don't know about you, but I can't believe that Diane keeps a sandwich baggie of crayons in her purse. I mean, she switches purses like every day to match the outfit. Like, So she has to switch the crayons in and out of all of her fabulous purses. I don't think I believe that any more than I believe that Daniel keeps a sandwich baggie of Swedish fish in his man bag. What are the odds of that? But hey, it takes a village. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, we've been conditioned to kind of understand that Daniel and Tessa are growing closer, but I wonder if Diane's going to offer Tessa a job at Chabot or something. I mean, that connection had to have happened for a reason. Or who knows, maybe Tessa will become Harrison's new nanny and the cycle can start all over again after Claire dumps Kyle. It may be a few years before I order foie gras again. Why don't you tell me, chatters, which Genoa City stuck-up snob said that? It may be a few years before I order foie gras again. The audacity. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com and guess and see if you got it right. Hey, this is like birthday week for Y&R chatters. Get this. Sharon and Brittany both have birthdays on August 6th. And Lara has a birthday on August 7th. I feel like there was somebody else in there that I was forgetting too. If I'll look it up here in a sec. But my goodness, happy birthday, and welcome home. I have to say, I hope that Sharon and Lara, your birthdays are very bright, much brighter than the French fiasco. I hope that your birthdays have no confusing mazes, no sleeping in a train car, and absolutely no murders. May your birthdays be murder-free, Sharon and Brittany and Lara. Oh, well, Russell says, yay, everyone is home. I sort of feel like when you get back in your own, it's when you get back in your own bed after a long vacation. Yeah, you know, Russell, I felt that way too. As soon as, you know, we've gotten used to seeing that shot of the maze and the chateau, but as soon as, I think it was either Thursday or Friday's show opened up and it was a shot of Genoa City. And, you know, that's something we've seen a million times over again, but there was something about that that just made it feel like home. And I like your analogy. It's like getting into your own bed. You know, the hotel bed, whatever, you can adjust to it, but there's nothing like getting into your own bed with your own pillows. It felt very much like that. Steven says, Abbott Communications inaugural headline clickbait. Murder of GC habitués in idyllic Nice. Maze Mountain corporate intrigue. Premature cosmetic sex. I think I'm murdering the French. But I think it's very interesting, Stephen, that we have two media companies and neither one of them have run the story yet. Neither one of them have decided to move forward with telling the whole world that Aristotle Dumas is really Kane Ashby, and neither one of them have run a story about what happened. Are they going to, or are they not? I mean, I hope after all of this, at least one of the media companies picks up the story and runs with it. Well, last week I asked you guys if you feel like our adventure in Nice was overall a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Kind of a close vote, but the winner was thumbs up. The majority of Y&R chatters feel that our 2025 adventure in Nice was a thumbs up, 42% voting thumbs down. Colleen says, while you can never go wrong with a pool set for summer, especially rooftop, remember that? It was nice to see something different. You have to admit, a train and a hedge maze are pretty unique. Colleen, absolutely, and that's what gives me the thumbs up. I mean, on sets alone, on visual alone, and the fashion too, I'll throw that in there too. Absolutely, for me, Nice was a thumbs up. You know, parts of the plot definitely have been a thumbs down, but I mean, just on, hey, we did something special for you guys for the summer. I think Y&R deserves a thumbs up. Naomi says I voted thumbs up, but the hedge maze and the endless buffet of quiches was a one-trick pony for me. But the murders, the kidnappings, Carter the Strange, and plethora of wardrobe changes made it a little bit of fun. It was a nice change of pace, but I'm glad the train transported everyone to Genoa City. Naomi, the endless buffet of quiches. Dang, there was a quiche morning, noon, and night on that buffet table. Heather K says, usually I have a very strong opinion about my Y&R characters and storylines, but this one is impossible for me. I'm at a 50-50 split. I think if we wrapped this up 2 weeks ago, then I may be at a 75% yes. The murder of Damian was a shocker, but the culprit was a predictable disappointment. The Audra and Kyle story was intriguing until they hooked up and then it ceased to make sense. I really thought they would join forces and outsmart Victor for once. As you see, it was good, but that explains my vacillating back and forth. You know what? I do think you're right. It was just 2 weeks too long. It was only about 2 weeks too long. But in that 2 weeks, you know, I mean, it was like the first month was Damian and then Damian's murder, and then the next week was the whodunit, and then next week was Chance's death and the wrap up. Marianne V voted no, thumbs down to our adventure in Nice, saying it was too long and drawn out. I got pretty tired of train cars and mazes after it started. Not being able to communicate with GC? No one even knows Cole's dead or Damian or Nick being hurt, so it's time to go back to Genoa City. You know, not being able to communicate thing was a really interesting facet of it, I thought. It allowed for all of it to take place in a bubble, which, you know, I mean, honestly, it would have been easier, you know, back in the retro days to pull that off before cell phones. But it was interesting that Amanda was able to jam the cell phones and then unjam them. Yeah. Michelle says, I give it a thumbs up. It was a change of pace from Wisconsin. The train sets and hedge mazes don't come cheap, so I appreciate the lengths the set decorators went to. I could have done without the painted styrofoam statues, though. Y&R has really blown us away on sets this year. I mean, we got the remodel of the ranch, the remodel of the Abbott Mansion, and then this wonderful summer show. I mean, I'm telling you, they have heard our call that we love our sets. They have delivered, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate that. I'm laughing about the painted styrofoam statues, though, Michelle. I never thought about it, but you're probably right. Well, Sharon W. says, handsome, healthy-looking Nick Newman is proof of the healing powers of a tea bag. Some salt and the kiss from a beautiful woman. He's not limping or wincing. Even Victoria gave him a powerful bear hug, which would seriously drop a lesser man to his knees. Oh, you're right. Victoria just gave him a big old hug. He was fine. He had a tea bag, some salt, and the kiss of a beautiful woman. Soaps. Soaps in a nutshell. Victoria says, miraculous recovery for sure. Maybe Nate will write a JAMA article entitled The Carney Cure. Teabag, salt, and kisses will become the standard for gash wound care. Yuck. As long as it's not a kiss on the wound. Sharon W. also says, I've never cared whether Nick renews a relationship with Sharon or Phyllis. He loves them both. But the genuine, shy, and sheepish look on his face when Sharon asked him when they should discuss the kiss seemed to showcase his recent growing feelings for Sharon. Yeah, I'd say it all kind of got laid out quite clearly the moment that kiss happened. I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. Are you on board with a Nick and Sharon reunion? That's our poll question for the week at yrchat.com. I've probably asked that question a million times, but I want to know right here, right now, in this moment of time, are you rooting for the Nick and Sharon reunion? yrchat.com. Hey, Astra says, so Carter did this because he's a hopeless romantic? Okay. I'm upset they killed off Chance. Couldn't they have said the military wanted him back or something to get him off the canvas for a while and then recast him later? Yeah, exactly, Astra. They didn't have to kill him. Diana also says, I'm especially sad that Chance is gone. He was one of my favorite characters on the show. I've always liked him since he started on Y&R. This is so disappointing that they've made the actor's departure so permanent. It would have been so much better if the door was left open for him to return by just having Chance move away. Chance is a legacy character, and he is Nina's son and a Chancellor. There aren't any Chancellors left now, other than Chance's son Dominic, who's more like Devon's son. I'm not sure what Y&R is doing. Why kill off the characters and not leave the door open for them to return? Yeah, that was my thought too, Diana. It's like, he's a legacy character. We didn't have to kill him just because the actor's leaving the show. Well, Connie says, why am I the only one that's a little worried about Nina and Jill? We have heard that Abby and Summer are upset over the loss of Chance, but little's been said about how his mother or grandmother are taking the sad news. Where is Nina? And have the authorities notified her? Shouldn't Tracy or Christine be consoling her, even if it is off camera? I know Billy is mad at his mom, but shouldn't his conversation with Jack have included some sympathy for Jill's loss? Yeah, it's almost like it's just Chance's death is not being treated as the big deal that it is. It really, even after Chance's death, after he died, there wasn't a ton that was said about it. It was definitely treated even less significantly than Cole's, in my opinion. Erica says, oh my gosh, Nate telling Amy about Damian's death had me in tears. So heartbreaking. The actress did an amazing job of showcasing the confusion of her feelings, anger, disbelief, guilt, and of course, overwhelming grief. It was so realistic. I know. I mean, that woman, she gives a very realistic performance, and I agree, it was just so sad. But you know what? Tony says, I think Damian is dead, and I think Lily's pregnant after their night together. Then she can stop hiding. Maybe then she can stop hiding her bump, and it'll be an interesting story for Lily. Tony, I never thought about that. What if Amy is so mad at Lily for what happened with Damian, and then boom, Lily shows up pregnant, and now Amy has this grandchild. What if Amy lost a son but gained a grandchild? Oh, that's so good. I wonder if there's any chance that that could happen. Well, Sue W. says, so is Kane actually a villain? Let's see. Buying up businesses, using an alias, entertaining gullible Genoa Cityers in south of France, pining for Lily. Well, as Russell said, the whole situation spun out of control. Let's see some more sabotaging communications, detaining Nick, lying about it all. Okay, Kane has clearly got some sorts of negative, misguided, deceitful, arrogant, selfish, unliked, etc. I kind of think in many ways he believed he was making wise choices. Has he had evil intent? Does he have evil intent? I say no. So to answer my initial question, not a villain, but open to rebuttal. That's a great question, Sue W. Is Kane a villain? I mean, you've really listed out the pros and cons. I guess I wasn't thinking of him as a villain. I was definitely thinking of him, I think you're right. I think in some ways he sort of thought he was doing what was right, or at least he thought he was doing what was okay. I don't think he exactly intended for any of this to happen. But Victoria answers by saying, well, it depends on your definition of what is required to be a villain. Kane used a lot of deception and manipulation before and during the Nice vacation. His goal was to outsmart all of the Genoa City business titans and to impress Lily. He wanted to emulate Victor by being many steps ahead and by answering questions with little information. Kane promised all would be revealed later and never really revealed much of anything. Kane unknowingly set up the perfect situation for murder to take place by blocking all communications, refusing to notify the authorities, and creating a very tense situation among his guests and employees. Villain? I'm on the fence. I hope Y&R writers give him a more nuanced treatment. Yeah, I like this. You make a really good point there, Victoria, that Kane definitely did all that, but I don't think it was exactly, I just don't get like mustache twirling out of it. I think he thought he was making a power play. But Russell makes a good point here saying, we haven't really seen his full plan yet. I think he's selfish, vengeful, and somewhat bumbling. But as much as he brags about being 10 steps ahead in his plotting and planning, he really had little foresight in Nice. He couldn't even see that Carter was completely in love with him and would do anything for him. He should have suspected Carter was the murderer right after it happened. But no, just lock Nick and Sharon, and not lock Nick and even Sharon away. He could not have thought that Sharon was any kind of threat. Nick at least made vague threats, but Sharon didn't do anything. Yeah, I just think it just didn't amount. Who was it that said, Victoria? It was like he promised all will be revealed later and never revealed much of anything. Even like Jack brought up that card that they all got on the train at the beginning. I can't remember what it said. Something like, hope and wait, or I don't remember what exactly it was. But then he read it and back again, and I thought, oh, that seems like it should be a very full circle moment. We're coming back to the beginning. And I don't feel like I really know anything more than I did in the beginning. It all kind of happened, but there certainly wasn't some big, like, aha moment. Whatever Kane had planned, it certainly didn't go the way he intended. But villain, I don't know. Maybe that's a good, if anybody else wants to chime in on that question, do so this week at yrchat.com. Is Kane a villain? Even if Y&R wanted to start him out as a villain, I think they're going to be building toward a love connection. I don't think it's Y&R's intention to make him a villain exactly. I think they're building toward the romance with he and Lily. But Dolores says, please, oh please, Phyllis, tell Billy to go pound sand or go kick rocks. He wants her to return to work with him at Abbott Communications when he fired her, making it clear he has no need or faith in her devotion/dedication to his visions. Well, what about Sally and the napkin contract he signed with her? Or they're working together as CEO, COO. What will be Phyllis's title/job? I cannot wait to see how Billy is going to share this business move with Sally. I'm getting out the popcorn. Maybe I misunderstood. I guess I thought that Billy and Phyllis were going to be working together at Kane's venture. Was Billy trying to get Phyllis to work at Abbott Communications? We saw in the previews that they're all coming together in the hotel room, Kane and Billy and Phyllis. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen between them and what the plan is going to be exactly. Russell says Billy is using gambling lingo when he is a recovering gambling addict, and it's foreboding. Kane is a, quote, wild card, and he's willing to, quote, bet on Billy, and he's willing to take his, quote, chances. I'm going to enjoy watching Billy be used up and thrown out after the way he treated Phyllis, Jack, Sally with regard to business. It's pretty gross. That can't be a coincidence, Russell, and it's very astute of you that you would catch that. Everybody kind of knows Billy is a gambling addict. And so if Y&R used that lingo that you just pulled out here, wild card, betting on chances, then that tells us where Billy's head is, and it certainly does foreshadow that he's in for a rude awakening. He's in for going all in and losing his chips. Sharon W. says, beautiful scene between Chelsea and Claire on Wednesday. Dialogue from both actors was well written and very tender. This scene pairs well with the compassionate, caring, and loving conversation between Adam and Victoria. Yeah, it was nice to see Chelsea and Claire, especially being friends and being friendly, and they're both kind of former bad girls, led astray by their family members, and coming together and having that moment was very nice, yes. Steven says, what will Claire and Victoria think of dear old Grandpa when they find out he's behind Audra and Kyle's near dalliance? And is not Nikki implicated, standing 6 while the events unfolded? Picture Claire storming into the ranch saying, what kind of insert impolite word are you to pay that insert another polite word meaning prostitute, to have sex with my boyfriend. Purchasing sexual services may be a crime, even in Wisconsin. Oh my goodness. Now picture Audra and Victor sharing top billing in the dock after a trial. Oh my goodness, yes. And Sue W. says, I was surprised that Claire pushed back so hard at Victoria's pressing her to go see Nikki and Victor before Kyle. She said, tell him whatever you want, I don't care. Yowza, go Claire. Yeah, I can't wait till Claire finds out the truth and to see her reaction. But oh, Russell says next week, Claire and Kyle are finally getting Adam's apartment. My guess is the thing with Audra will hit the fan after they move in together. Ooh, that's extra messy. Well, hey, Sue W. says, I love the story heading hopefully toward a Tessa-Daniel romance. Those two amazing actors play off one another so easily. I completely buy each's vulnerability snowballing toward their about to manifest attraction for each other. And so organic through shared love of music. And Mariah, or is that so groan-worthy? Anyway, mix in the powerhouse of Cameron Grimes playing a blindsided and still screwed up Mariah. Oh yeah, this is going to be a gold mine soapy triangle front and center. Bring it on. I loved the little drawings that Tessa did for Aria with the crayons, and I noticed that she drew Mariah as a redhead and she drew herself as a blonde with yellow crayon. She fully sees herself as blonde. She's embracing the blonde, even in crayon form. Hey, Sharon says, so apparently Devon goes from stranded in Nice, France to Baltimore, Maryland. Must be nice to have your own jet. Brighton James has made an appearance in Beyond the Gates. Wow, Sherrod, I did not know that. So Devon jetted directly from Nice to Fairmount Crest. Fairmont Crest. Is that what it is? I love that name. Fairmont Crest. That's like the best name. It's so soapy. I just can feel that. A soapy gated community. Oh, if only I had more time, I'd be watching it. But yeah, wow. Okay, how about that? A Y&R crossover with the Gates. I think that's very cool. I think that's great. But also, I mean, Devon, you might want to get home to break the news to your son, that his other dad has died. I don't know, that sounds like a very soapy sentence. Devon, go home, break the news to your son that his other father has died. Is that the most soapy sentence I've ever said? Possibly. Okay, everybody. That does it for me for another Y&R Chat. I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful week. Don't forget to go to yrchat.com to leave your comments, and I will be back next Sunday. I love you guys. I'll see you then. Bye.